Ever wish you could share pizza with your dog, but think pizza is off limits? Well, not this one. This is dog-safe pizza, even for your bulldog. Hi, I'm Lori from the Holistic Bulldog, and this is Geisha, who just loves pizza. And we're here to show you a recipe for bulldog-safe pizza that you can make for your puppy today in honor of National Pizza Day. The first thing you'll need is a cooking sheet or baking pan, and you'll just want to cover that with parchment paper and then put it off to the side. Next, we're going to take the ingredients. You'll need a cheesecloth, some Parmesan cheese, some mozzarella cheese, finely shredded is probably best, 1 egg, and a bag of cauliflower rice. You can also use a head of cauliflower, which you can shred down to rice consistency. You'll want to use the instructions on your cauliflower rice bag. Mine was to poke it with a fork and then put it in the microwave for 3 to 5 minutes. I went ahead and did 4 minutes. Probably did about 4 minutes and 30 seconds because I did add 30 seconds to that. And go ahead and microwave it until it's done. In the meantime, you'll want to set your oven to preheat at 450 degrees. Then you're going to take your cheesecloth and line your bowl. Once the cauliflower rice is out of the microwave, you're going to want to make sure that it cools off. Probably let it sit for 5 minutes or more. I had a little bit of a hard time here, so scissors are my recommendation. You want to pour the cooked cauliflower into your cheesecloth lined bowl because we're going to drain all the moisture out of it. Now, I will give you a tip. Even though the bag is cooled, I found that the rice itself was pretty hot when handling and straining out the water. Once you have all the cauliflower rice in your cheesecloth, you want to go ahead and lift that up and squeeze all the excess moisture into the bowl. I recommend having an extra bowl just to catch the water because you're going to need the other bowl for mixing of the dough. So you want to make sure you get all of the moisture out as much as possible. I'll tell you, I probably got about half of this bowl full of liquid. It was a little hot to the touch, so it took me a little longer. But you want to make sure you're just squeezing it and squeezing it and squeezing it until you've got all of the water out. The drier the cauliflower, the easier it's going to be to make your dough. You want to make sure that there's as little to no moisture in the cauliflower rice so that your dough will have a nice sticky consistency. Otherwise, it'll be very soggy and hard to work with. Once you have all the moisture squeezed out of the cauliflower rice, it'll look something like this. You're going to want to transfer that out of the cheesecloth and into a different bowl. Make sure you get all of that rice off the cheesecloth. Then once you have that in the bowl, you're going to use your cheeses, your mozzarella and your Parmesan. You're going to take a 1/4 cup of mozzarella cheese, which is about 4 ounces. And then you're going to take 3 tablespoons of the grated Parmesan cheese and pour that right into the mixture. Don't make a mess like me. Make sure you carefully pick up that Parmesan cheese. Then you're going to use the 1 egg and go ahead and crack that in there. Nice one-handed cracking there, huh? And you want to mix this mixture up. You can use your hands, just knead it like regular dough. It won't get the consistency of regular dough, so you're not going to get a very sticky consistency or a very formed dough like you would something with flour or anything like that. But it is going to have some sort of shape, and you're just going to want to knead it just like regular dough. Then you're going to pull your baking tray with parchment paper over, and I made almost like pizza, little mini pizzas or pizza bites, because I made one for each dog in the house. But you can make one big pizza and you can cut it, or you can do it whatever's easier for you. I just did separate. This gave me 5 mini pizzas. So I made 5 balls out of the dough. And then once I had them on there, I pushed down to make the shape that I wanted. So I made them into round pizzas with kind of like a pocket in the middle to hold all the ingredients that I was going to put as the toppings. Once I had all 5 in the shape that I wanted, I put them into the oven and cooked them for 18 to 20 minutes. Next, let's make the sauce. For the sauce, we're going to use 1 red bell pepper, 1 carrot, and a basil leaf. So you're going to go ahead and cut up your red pepper. I actually only used 1 piece of red bell pepper since we're making these mini pizzas. Make sure you clean out all the seeds and all the stuff that's on the inside. And then you can cut that into slices to fit your blender. You also want to go ahead and cut up your carrot and your basil so that you can put those in the blender as well. Then you're going to want to use some bone broth. I used Native Pets. It was 1/4 cup to 1 scoop, which is about 1/2 tablespoon of powder. Bone broth is a great additive to any meal for your dog, especially when you have leaky gut issues, things of that nature. This is probably the best thing you can use, and having it in powder form keeps it shelf safe for longer. If you don't have bone broth, you can always use water. The point is to have some kind of liquid in there when you stick it in the blender to give it that saucy consistency. Just throw that all in your blender and give it a quick blend until you get some kind of saucy consistency. Once your pizza crusts are out of the oven and they're slightly cooled, you want to bring them over and then add the sauce to each of your individual pizzas or your one big pizza, depending what size you made. So I went ahead here and added it to all 5. You can also make a slightly different version of this sauce using sweet potato. You can use carrot puree or carrot baby food if you don't find carrots or don't want to blend. You can always use something of that nature. You can make a tomato sauce. Dogs can have tomato. Sometimes it's a little bit upsetting for their tummies. That's why I chose to go ahead and use the red pepper and carrots. You can use just red peppers. You don't have to add carrots if you don't want to, but this is a great way to add vegetables to your dog. Speaking of vegetables, my toppings are going to be shiitake mushrooms. These are one of the best mushrooms that you can give them, besides things like lion's mane and other types of mushrooms I really couldn't get my hands on. And I'm also making little meatballs. So what I'm going to do is saute these just slightly in a tiny bit of olive oil, just so they don't stick to the bottom. And you just want to saute these. They don't have to be 100% cooked. Obviously, my dogs eat raw, but I wanted to make them a little bit sturdy. So I went ahead and just heated them up just a little bit. You'll see here some of them are still a little raw in the middle. And then once those are done, you want to transfer those onto your pizza. Whatever toppings you choose, you want to go ahead and put them in on top of the pizza. You can, if you want, put these back in the oven for a couple of minutes just to heat up the sauce. And if you want to add a little bit more cheese, it'll melt that, or anything else that you put on there that might want to melt. You can always put pineapple and pork, not deli ham, because that's too high in sodium. But if you want to make a Hawaiian type pizza, you can always use something like that. Do not use pepperoni. That's also very high in sodium. But you can get ground chicken, you can get ground pork, you can get ground turkey, a little piece of chicken breast, or like I used here, some ground beef. And then go ahead and you'll see I took those out of the oven. I did put them in for a couple minutes just to warm up the sauce. And then we went ahead and cut them in halves so they were easier to feed. But make sure that they are cool to the touch. These crusts are a little thin with a little bit of a thicker edge. You can make them a little thicker if you'd like. You just need probably some more cauliflower, or if you're gonna make one bigger pizza, that'll probably be easier. But since I made 5 little individual ones, I didn't have as much cauliflower to work with. You already saw how Geisha liked them. Let's check out Harley. Look at that lip lick. And Aria. I'd say they were definitely a hit at my house. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us for more recipes.